Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Tiana of Storey House Books, and today is another hashtag ABC April 2025 episode. So today is letter G. So we had some different prompts that we could go with. So I chose gussets. So I know a lot of people hear the word gusset and maybe not know what it is, so or what they're used for, or how to make them, or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the gussets that I use, how I make them, and where I use them. Okay? So we'll start off easy with, I call it a double flap gusset, and you'll see why in a minute. We're going to make an envelope with it. And gussets, the main purpose, in my opinion, is to provide more space in whether it's a pocket, an envelope, a tuck, or whatever. So in this case, it's going to be an envelope. So for my envelopes, I make all my envelopes pretty much the same way. And this piece happens to be about 6 by 12, so it's going to be a pretty big envelope. I didn't cut it down. Right. So what I do is, to make my gussets, I do a 1/2 inch from either side. Sorry, we're just going to jump right in. I know I kind of didn't do much of an intro today, but having a rough day today, so I figured I would stop what I was doing, which was working. Oh, it's after 5, so after work hours, but I usually end up working really late. But come do something that made me feel better. I'm not feeling too swift right now, for reasons. To start with, my nails are all like dyed coffee color. I'm making paper throughout the day as well. Dyeing some paper. Anyway, so you scored your flaps here. These are going to be your gussets. Okay, fold those in. Fold up your envelope to whatever depth you want, right? So I'm going to make it kind of a deep one here. You're going to fold the top down. That's going to be your flap. Make sure it's even. Now we're going to cut out some parts here. It's kind of called mitering. It decreases the bulk of your piece, as well as makes it easier to fold. I mean, especially when it comes to envelopes. So I'll grab my schnizzers, and where the horizontal and the vertical lines intersect, you're going to cut at an angle towards it, like that. Cut out a little triangle. Yeah, and do that all the way around, or on both sides, rather. And then for my envelopes, I actually even miter the flap itself and the body, because I don't want to see, once I fold it up, I don't want to see that extra paper hanging out, and that gets rid of that. What we're going to end up with, I actually have to end up looking like. So this is one of my envelopes, and here's the gusset on the inside. You guys can see that right here. That's why I call it double flap, because there's 2 pieces to it, and that's what the gusset does. It gives you that extra space in the pocket, so it's not so flat, right? If you just glued it down here on each side, you know, you're not going to have that much space inside an envelope. So now with the gusset, you got all the space to put more stuff in, right? So this is what we're making right now. This is a larger version. Alright, once you've cut your carrots out and you've mitered your ends here, normally I would take one of my dies. I'll do that I can do that later. And I would cut something like this. This is what I do with my dies here. I'll scallop the edges, or I'll, you know, die cut the edge there, give it a little bit more, make it a little prettier than just cutting it. But for today, we're just going to close it up, and I can take it over to my die cut machine afterwards, which I should have done beforehand, but I didn't. So, all right, you take your glue, and you're going to go around the edges here. You don't need that much. I'm using art glue for this. Do that on both sides. And then you're just going to fold this up. That creates the gussets. It'll glue to the other flap on the opposite side. Give it a second to grab. Okay, and once that dries, I'm going to go ahead and fold these flaps in. I'll glue these in. This gives you a little bit more strength in your top flap too, just having this little piece instead of cutting it off. And I don't mind that it's there. See, I think it looks just fine with it, right? Okay, that should be dry enough now, but so that will form your gussets now. I hope you guys can see that inside there. Double flap gusset, yeah? And there you go. That's the first kind of gusset that I use. I use this on all my envelopes. I use it for pockets, coin envelopes, also all types of things. So that's number one, easy one. Second one I'm going to show you is an accordion gusset. Now this is a pocket here. This is an accordion. It looks just like it sounds, like an accordion, right? So this gives you even more, can give you even more space. You can make it a two-fold gusset, a two-fold accordion like this one's got two folds, 1, 2. You can make it even bigger, more room you want, right? The more room, the more flaps you make here, the more room you're going to get in the end piece here. What you will have to consider though is when you're doing the flap over, if you're making something like this, like a pocket like this, you'll have to create another kind of gusset right here to cover the space you've created, right? Like that. Oh, that makes sense. So that's how I show you how I make one of those. Now for these, this piece actually measures almost 6 by 12. So we're gonna make another kind of deep pocket here. Now what I'm gonna do first is cut off part of this to make my gussets with, right? So actually I need to grab my other trimmer to do that. 1 second. I have to grab my big one because it's such a long piece. Now, I'm going to cut from here a piece that is about 1.5 inches wide. That'll give me plenty of space to do a two-flap accordion. There's an inch, that's about 1.5 inches. Okay, cut this piece off, and we're going to use that. Excuse the sniffles, guys. The pollen is killing me. Okay, so put this to the side. Now we're going to decide how deep we want our pocket. Keeping in mind, we have to keep in mind that we need enough room in the flap to do the flap plus this little gusset right here. Okay, so as I fold it up here, trying to kind of imagine how much space I'm going to need. That ought to do it, actually. Right there. Now it's completely up to you how deep you want it. Just keep in mind you got to have that gusset for your gussets. Your gusset for your gusset. Okay? Before we fold that part, we want to see how big our gusset's actually going to be, right? So I'm going to cut this strip the same length here as my envelope, or my pocket rather, envelope, pocket, whichever. Make a little mark here. I'm going to cut that straight as I can. Then I'll cut another piece, another piece that's the exact same length. Yeah. And now you should have 2 pieces, and then your pocket here. Nope. Put my pin back in my glue before it gets all goobered. Okay. Sorry, I was having a moment. Anyway, sorry. I'm a little distracted today, if you can't tell. Okay, so how do you make the accordion part? Very simply, you take your piece here. You're going to fold it in half. Okay, now the side that you want to fold away from is what the side you want to actually show on the outside. Okay, so since I want this side to show, obviously because it matches, I'm going to fold away from it. And then you're going to flip back on that same side, flip back, fold it in half on itself. Okay? And then just flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. What it's going to give you is a little W shape like this. Okay? You guys can see that? There. Alright, let's do the same thing with the other piece. Fold it in half. And then fold it back on itself. In half. Okay, now you should have two of these. The next part is you're going to miter these as well. It'll decrease the bulk and make it slide in a lot easier inside of this slot here. So, the side that you want facing out, I hold it this way, and you're going to cut inside towards the inside of the pocket. So this is the outside. I'm going to cut down here at the bottom from the corner at an angle to the inside of the pocket, like that. You do the same thing for the other side. So now you have a piece that kind of looks like a little trapezoid, right? Do the same for the other one. Put this part on the outside, cut at an angle towards the inside of the pocket, and same with this one. Okay. Now that's just the way I do it. People do it differently. Some people don't do that, but I do. I find it reduces some bulk and fits a lot easier into this angled slot here. Now, easy peasy part. Grab your glue, and you're just going to put some glue on this top piece here. Make sure you don't try to over glue because you don't want to glue your accordion together. Yeah? So just be careful there. You'll take this piece and you'll slide it down all the way down to the bottom of this fold here of your pocket. And then you want to line it up so you don't see that gusset on the outside, right? Make sure it's all the way down to the bottom of this crease. Okay? Then you do the same thing on the other side. Grab your glue. Slide this down all the way into that crease. And then just kind of push it in to make sure it's not showing. But you want it to the edge, but not showing. Yes? If it does show a little bit, it's a little bit of inking, we'll take care of that. No big whoop. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Now that we've got both sides glued, it should look like this now. Okay. And then you just do the same thing on the other side of the flap of the gusset. Put your glue in, being sure not to over glue because you don't want the glue splurging out and gluing your accordion flaps together. Then you kind of miss the whole point of putting in a gusset. Now, if it does happen, you just go in there with your bone folder and kind of just pop them apart. I call it pop in a pocket because it happens to me all the time. I put a little too much glue and I'll glue the gusset down. Okay, so you got your glue on there and simply just fold it up like so and press down. And that's what it should look like on the sides, a little accordion, right? And that gives you some room here, less or more, but you'll see there that it does give you a bit of room to make it a little bit wider. I'm not gonna pull on it too hard. We just glued it, but you'd be able to pull out a pretty good bit. Look at that. See? So that's another type of gusset. And then to finish this piece off, I'm going to fold it about a ½ inch from the edge of here. I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay. And then another ½ inch from here, from this fold, I'll make another fold. Again, I'm just eyeballing it to make sure I cover the gusset I just created. Otherwise, you put a bunch of stuff in here and your flap's not going to close down. So now this way, see, kind of squares it off between about the same width as this here. And even if it goes a little bit bigger, you still got some room here. You'll see this piece moves, right? So that's it. That's the second kind of gusset that I use, accordion gusset, for these. To finish this off, I would probably round the corners, put a closure there, whether it's a label, an eyelet with a wraparound, or even a magnet or some or a Velcro button. Any of those would work here. Okay? And there you go. All right, that's the second kind. All right, the third kind that I'm going to show you is I call it a single flap gusset, and I'm going to show you how to do that one on a file folder. Here's a file folder, and that's the gusset on the inside here. You can see that right inside here. That's the single flap. I call it a single flap because it's one piece and it's not coming from both sides, right? So that's the gusset we're going to make now. This one's really simple, very easy to do. So I'm going to grab the file folder here that I decoupaged with some Tim Holtz collage paper not too long ago, so I figured we'd use this. Actually, I'm going to show you on a bigger one. This is a hand-cut file folder that I made. One of the several different types of file folders that I make. There's a few other ones that I make that I got inspired by Seven Plaza. She has a file folder February playlist that she uses. You'll be able to find. You'll see several different types of mini file folders that she makes. But this one I hand cut. And what we're going to do is put the flap on the inside here, or the gusset, to give us a little bit of room. It doesn't give you much, but it gives you some. Better than it being flat down on itself like that, then it's kind of difficult to get inside there. So to do that, you're going to need some scraps that are as long as your file folder is, or whatever you're doing, the pocket envelope is deep. Yes? So for this one, because there's this little bend here, I'm going to make it beneath, I'm going to measure beneath that bend because I don't want it to show. And I'm going to cut right here. And then the exact same size on the other scrap that I have. Now, the width of the scrap only matters insofar as you need enough of it to actually make the gusset itself. Because all you're going to do is take the scrap and fold it in half. Literally, that's it for this piece. Well, not literally it, but just fold it in half. And we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to do some mitering here. So if it's going to go, if it goes in this way, like so, just like the accordion, but just a single flap, right? We're going to cut in, and then you don't, for the single flap, you don't really have to, because you don't have the bunching of the accordion, the multiple flaps in here to worry about extra bulk. So you don't have to do that with these. It'll lay in here pretty flat. Yeah? So you do the exact same thing like you did with the accordion at this point. You put your glue on, making sure not to over glue so it doesn't come out, and glue this part shut. But again, you could always take your bone folder and pop that open. Put it down into the crease there, all the way as far as it'll go. And then make sure you got it to the edge without it showing, and just press back and forth until you have it hidden. And then the same thing on the other side. Fold your piece in half, your scrap in half. Give it a nice crease. This is going on this side. I'm going to miter it this way. Because see, now you won't see it from, if you're looking from this way, you won't see that extra piece of paper sticking up right here. And we're going to do the same thing as we did before. Just put the glue on the gusset flap here. Slide it in all the way to the bottom, line up the edges, and press in here. And again, you want to go to the edge, but you don't want that gusset showing. I mean, I guess if you want it to show, you could, but I don't particularly care for that way. All right, and again, just open it up and put glue on the other side of the gusset. and fold it close. Now this doesn't give you a huge amount of room, but it does increase the space within the piece you're making, whether it's a file folder, pocket, what have you. So see, it automatically opens itself up. Okay? All right. That is another type of gusset that I use on a regular basis. The next one I'm going to show you is a gusset that I do more for looks. It's an external gusset. Like this. These are the actual gussets here and here. You'll see that you'll notice that it does open it up, keeps everything from falling out on either side. But I just kind of like the way this looks, so I'll do this fairly often on a file folder. Get a little bit more of an industrial look with some brads, and then I may add some labels, maybe a specimen tag here, something like that. But I start like this. So this is my external gusset. Okay. So this one's pretty easy as well. All you need are a couple of scraps. So I grabbed some file folder scraps here, and you want it to be long enough that it wraps around, gives you about a 1/4 inch, and then wraps around again. So so when it wraps around here, this length plus this is your gusset, that folding here and here, that creates the gusset part, and then you glue it to the back. Okay. So just eyeballing it, I'm going to cut a piece about that long. Okay, so now I got 2 pieces. And I don't need both of those, I don't think, because I'm going to make these about a 1/4 inch wide. So I'll take something like this. This is a little over an inch, it's about 1.5 inches, and I'm going to cut it in half. Oops, that's not straight at all, is it? Let's try that again. Square off your ends that you want showing. This is not straight either. Okay. 2 pieces that look about like that. Okay. So for the one down here at the bottom, it's pretty much the same process for the bottom or top one. We're going to place it on here and kind of measure our placement, right? I want it to come in about that far. Then I'm going to fold it, wrap it around, fold it, give it a nice crease there. And then I'm going to pull on it just a little bit, about to where there's another 1/4 inch of space here, and then I'm going to press again. And that gives us our nice little gusset right there. Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to crease the other side too. So it has that look to it. Alright? And then simply, you're going to wrap it around on the back. You're going to fold it on that one side. Glue that down. Make sure you're gluing them down straight as well. You don't want it cockeyed flap here. Alright, and then for this side, you're gonna, that next crease, you're gonna line it up with the file folder's flap there, like so. So you have your little gusset like this. Yeah? Does that make sense? And then simply for the, to attach it, take my pokey tool here, my awl, poke a hole where I want that brad to go, like so. Cut a couple brads out. Now you can just glue it down, you don't have to use brads. You can even do an eyelet there if you want. That works too. These are Tim Holtz brads. Alright, take this out. Slide your brad in. Now I will say, when you put this in, you want to make sure that the legs open up this way, not vertically, horizontally. It's less likely to catch on something that's going in and out of there. So we'll spread these little prongs here. And an easy way I found to make sure that they lay flat is I'll close this down, take the back end of my awl and press directly onto the brad. And if you'll notice, it flattens it right out. Can you see that? Can you guys see that in there? I hope you can. Let me see. Can you see that? Yeah. See how flat it is? Nice and flat. And that gives it this look. So now you've got this much space in your file folder. Yeah? So we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to do it at the same level as this other one. So let's position this to make them match. That's about right. Yeah. Okay. I'll fold this around. Give me my first crease of the gusset. And I'll just pull down on this a little bit. And that'll give me another crease there. Yeah? Let me go ahead and just use my bone folder real quick. Tighten that up. And you have your gusset again. So I want these even. I'm going to try to place these even before I glue that back down. And just hold it with my thumb here, or my forefinger in rather. Flip it over and then glue the back piece down. Now flip it over really quickly if you're using art glitter glue and make sure you got your guys even. And then go ahead and press down and solidify that flap in the back. All right. And then just like before, we're going to open this up to where the file folder is inside the next little crease here. Yeah. And then we're going to poke our hole where we want our brad. Now be careful not to poke yourself with the finger that's holding this behind there. Try to do these even. I think that's right about there. All right, let's go there. Make sure you don't poke yourself. All right. Grab your brad again. Push that through. Open up the prongs horizontally. And just take the back end of your awl again. Press directly down on the brad. And that flattens it right out. See? Yes? So they both flatten. They're really pretty flat. Nothing's really going to catch easily on those. Right? See? And now you've got your external flap gusset. See how much room that gives you? While keeping everything in on the sides. And it looks cool. I think it looks cool. Like that. Okay? Now you can do them like I did before on this other one where I did them at different levels. You can do multiple ones. You can do wider ones. Up to you. Sky's the limit. Or whatever your imagination is your limit. Which for most people, for some people like myself, my imagination is sometimes my limit. Limits me. Or limits me. But anyway, that is the fourth type of gusset I wanted to show you. Okay, so far we did the double flap like this. It's two pieces joined together, glued together. We did the accordion right here. The second one. We did a single flap like this, just one piece on the inside. Yeah. Then we did the external gusset like this, with two pieces that are attached by a brad in the front and glued to the back. Yeah, gives you this gusset, type of gusset. Okay. All right, the last one I'm going to show you is how I use them gussets in folios. Now, those of you guys who know me or watched me before know, I don't know if I'm known for them, but that's what I do most often, are folios. So this is one I just started working on. I'm not sure where I'm going with it yet. It's just the cover. It's got a pocket here. This has a single flap gusset, I believe, or did I do a double flap? I did a double flap. I did a double flap. Sure did. This is a double flap gusset. Hope you guys can see that. But, and the closure here is just a single eyelet with a wraparound jute twine to close it. Yeah? Okay, so what I'm going to show you is how to do a gusset in a folio, or how I use gussets how I use gussets in folios. Now I'm working on this first panel to show you guys this. And so I got a piece of Tim Holtz paper that's a 6x10. This is just a piece I'm going to glue on later. And here's a file folder that I hand cut. Yeah? So what I'm going to do is create a gusset here and a gusset here to where this folds out like so. Yeah? You guys may see that. You guys who follow me know that's. You probably know. Bleh, probably familiar with that little trick here. This is my part of my 2x10 flip out. So we go from just one panel to 5 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. So to make the gusset that goes here, I got some more scrap file folder. Pulled it out. And we are going to make a gusset out of this one. For this particular folio, because this spine here is 1 inch, the gussets need to add up on both sides to 1 inch, which means that the gussets on this side have to add up to, when I say add up to, the widths have to add up to half of its spine. So we got an 1 inch spine, which means they have to add up to half an inch. Meaning, if I'm going to have 2 gussets, one here, each one of those is going to be 1/4 of an inch. Okay? I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so for this, well, I do need to use my scoreboard because I need to do the measurement. Oh, sorry guys, like sniffles. I'm going to measure the flap that attaches to the page. A 1/2 inch flap is standard for me. Then I'm going to measure 1/4 inch over. So that would take me to 3/4 of an inch. And that's my 1/4 inch gusset. Okay? And then I'll leave the rest to attach to the file folder. Now I believe the length is fine. Let me just double check. Let me cut off 1/4 inch there. So let's do that. I want to eyeball it. Just for giggles. Did I get it? Wow, look at that. Sure did. Got it right on the nose. Perfect. Alright, so now that you've scored it, just fold those pieces in. Along the squirrel marks. And you have created your gusset, which is 1/4 inch. 2 of these, because we're going to create a same width gusset on this one, will be a 1/2 inch. Okay? So for this one, I'm going to, because I want, once I pull on this, to pull this side up. So I'm going to attach it like so. Okay? A 1/2 inch is going to go here, and the other flap is going to go there. Yeah? Hopefully this works. It works in my head. So we'll see if it works on paper. Okay. And I'm just going to bring it to the edge here. Okay, grab to the edge, not past it, because you don't want to impede the folding of this. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to glue this to that in a second. Before I do that, I got to create the gusset here that attaches to this inside panel. So I'm going to make a gusset on this side. Yeah? So same thing. These are easy ones to do. I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch to create the flap that attaches down to the page. 3/4 to make my 1/4 inch gusset. And there you go. We'll fold along the score lines to create the gusset itself. Now, when you're working with these types of gussets, it's a good idea to reinforce them. Okay? What do I mean by reinforcing? I should have done it before I glued this down. Was what I should have done. but I'm going to reinforce it on the inside to make up for that. When I say reinforce, you're going to want to reinforce it with something like washi tape. I mean, this is paper. Opening and closing it will cause wear and tear on it. The washi tape or fabric or bookbinding tape, whatever you use, is going to help keep that together. If it does happen to tear, this is going to keep it together. Okay? So for this one, I've got, this is a little bit inch and a quarter washi tape. Or you can use bookbinding tape, either or. Should I use bookbinding tape instead? I don't think I have it over here. I don't know where it is. I think I put it away when I was tidying up. Anywho, this works too, and I'm going to show you how I attach a reinforced washi tape, because I actually end up sewing it down because I don't trust washi tape. As far as the adhesive part of it, sometimes it's sticky, sometimes it's not, and God forbid it pulls up off of your gusset and kind of, you know, defeats the whole purpose, right? So, with that, excuse me, I'm going to have to grab something here. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit of Fabri-Tac, and I'm going to put that over the gusset just to give another reinforcement of the washi tape, because sometimes you all know washi tapes can be not as sticky as we'd like it to be. This will at least keep the washi tape down. And I'm spread it across it like that. Take my washi tape and I'm going to have it centered over, I want the gusset centered under the tape as best you can. Okay, that's about right. And you just press that down. Okay. Now I should have done it on this side as well, but you get the idea. Right. So I'm going to take my little razor tool, my craft knife, and cut these pieces off. Now, while we put Fabri-Tac on it, you can never be sure that it went all the way to the edge, right? All the way around. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. You don't know. And you can't be 100% positive that it did. So, to reinforce that, I will actually go around and I'll probably sew, or not probably, but I'll sew single stitch down each side of this washi tape. Okay, so I'm going to show you on this piece what I mean. It's easier, it'll be easier to see. Now again, I could use bookbinding tape, which is what I normally would do, but I want to show you how I do it with washi tape because it's a little bit more difficult technique. Requires a little more work, but the end result is worth it. All right, so again with the Fabri-Tac. All the way down. I spread out my glue so it's even. It gives better contact with the tape. And then again, center the gusset under the tape as best you can. Like so. And then just press. Okay. Now, I'm just going to go around and do the back side as well. And again, spread out the glue evenly. And pull your washi tape over and match it up to the other side. There we go. I think that's about right. And then press again. Yeah. All right. Then you can just snip that off. Take your craft knife again. And then cut along the edge of the piece. Pops that right off. Okay. Now, before I take it to my sewing machine, I'm gonna let it dry just a little bit. I didn't put that much glue on it because I don't want it to take too long to dry, and two, I don't want it to get all gobbed up in my sewing machine. All right, so I'm gonna go sew this, and I'll be right back to show you what it looks like. Okay, we're back. So I went ahead and sewed a single stitch line all the way down on there around the edges of the washi tape here. Okay, and that washi tape is going to be there. No worry about curling up on it, coming off. Right? And and it looks nice, I think. You can leave or cut off the string, up to you. Cut it up to you. And then we're just going to go and fold against our creases that we already had, our scores from before. And now we have a really nice, beautiful, strong gusset here that will withstand opening and closing. Okay? To attach, simply glue this flap down. Yeah? I'm about to sneeze. Am I? I think. It's getting gooey. Now, I find that Fabri-Tac works better when gluing down washi tape, in my experience. You do you. If you think if art glue or Barely Arts or whatever works better for you, please use that. I use Fabri-Tac. So we're just going to cover this half-inch flap that we made with our Fabri-Tac. Put a pretty good bit on there, because then again, I'm gonna want you to even it out, either with a glue spreader or your finger. Either one works. Make sure you get it to the ends and the edge. Watch, you don't want to glue your strings in if you're leaving the strings on, so kind of be careful with that. You don't want them getting all gooed up with glue. So just carefully push this down to the edge or wherever you like it. I want a little bit of the stitching to show, so I'm bringing it in front just a hair so you can see the stitching in the back. Otherwise, why do the stitching at all? Okay, I'm going to give it a nice press here. Also, if you have stitching on the background, the Fabri-Fix or Fabri-Tac or Fabri-Fix or 123, all the same material or same type of glue, works best when stitching on top of stitching, or when you're gluing on top of stitching, because it's what made of fabric. All right. Now, there's one gusset here, so it opens like so. Here's the other one that we're going to put on here. And I'm not too worried about this one because this is made from file folder, so it's meant to be open and closed. So I'm not too terribly worried about the reinforcing, while I did reinforce it on this side. I did not sew it. I guess we could, just to be sure. Let's do it. I'll be right back. I want to sew it just to be sure, because otherwise it's going to bug me. And we are back. Okay. Now we're just going to glue. Oh, I got a tower of ink about to fall over here. Excuse me 1 second while I take down the tower of ink pads. Okay, what's going on over there? All right. So now we're going to glue this piece here, and when we pull on this one, the whole thing will go like that. Yeah? So again, I'm going to use Fabri-Fix for this. Fabri-Tac. Why do you say Fabri-Fix? I'm going to spread it. Again, either a glue spreader or your finger, either one works to do this. I just want to make sure it gets to the edges more than anything else. All right, then I'm going to move my strings out of the way and line this up because I want it in the middle of this piece-ish. Middle-ish. I'm going to bring it all the way to the edge of the panel here. Right? See where I sewed it up and down? Now I've got to worry about that washi tape coming off, and that gusset is secure and nicely reinforced. Okay, so here we go. Boom, that's the idea. So I'll pull on this. I'll probably put gussets on here, the outside gusset, to keep it closed so they can put things inside of it, nothing will fall out. I may put another one over there, probably wider as well. But there you go. Check it out. Boom. That's the piece. And then I was going to take this guy and just turn it into a tuck. Put that right there. Cool, right? I like it. I'm not sure what direction I'm going with this thing. I'm kind of just winging it. But so far it's kind of turning out not well, I guess kind of military so far, because if you look at the cover, yeah, you know, it's kind of grungy. So I'm going for grunge. I don't know. That's the end game here. As long as it looks grungy, I'm good. I think I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down, as a matter of fact. It needs to be a little bit grungy though. It's too pretty. You guys are getting a sneak peek in one of my new projects. I've got actually 6 going right now, as a matter of fact. But because my printer is down, I can't rightly finish some of them or work on any of them. I did finish one large, chunky, like garden junk journal. I haven't done a junk journal in a while, and it is a chunky monkey. She is pretty. So that one will be going up in the store once I have time to take some pictures of her and put her up there for you. I've been kind of dragging my feet because, again, I can't print the shipping labels if anybody orders anything, so I have to go to the UPS store, and that costs me 20 cents a sheet plus the computer time to access my Etsy account. So I sold, I shipped something basically yesterday at a loss. That's gonna look cool right there. All right, so I thought about stapling it just to give that metal effect. Or do we want to, or I could use Brad's. I can go back and put Brad's on it later, but let's go and glue it down because I really like this. All right, I'm going to use art glitter for this. You guys can see me put this thing together real quick. Come on. Stopped up. Gosh darn it. I love art glitter glue, but this is like one of the things about working with it. Here, okay. Sure does get clogged up easy. And that will be a cute little tuck right here. I'm so sorry, you guys. I know that's just gross. I cannot help it. You guys who've been with me for a while know my health issues, and the pollen sure ain't helping here in Georgia. Speaking of which, hey Raven, one of my new subscribers, she lives in the same county as I do. I just found out. We both live in Cobb County, Georgia. I live in a town called Marietta. I love it here. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, here's my tuck. Oh, that looks so cute. And then, once I put the gussets on here, it'll open up like that. Bang, boom, done. Okay, so that's the folio gusset and how I use it. Yeah, so there's that one. And then just to review, the other gussets that I showed you today was the accordion pocket, was one. The accordion flap, garter flap gusset, like this. That's 2 of them. I showed you the double flap gusset for using for envelopes. You can use it for pockets as well. This guy's got 2 pieces that glue together. Big gusset, gives you lots of room. I showed you the single flap gusset, which is just 1 piece, folded in on the inside. Give you a fairly decent gusset there, depending on how large your actual piece is. And then finally, the external for looks gusset on this one and this one as well. This is just kind of like the folio where you just create a little fold here, 2 folds to create the gusset. Keeps everything from falling out the sides. Put it on there with some hardware, and I think it looks pretty cool. Throw some labels on it, specimen slide, what have you. So that is what we've done today. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let me know which one's your favorite, or hopefully you learned something, that I taught you something new, gave you some inspiration or some ideas on how to create different types of gussets for other types of things, other types of projects. And I hope you had a little bit of fun. So excuse my sniffles today. If you live in Georgia, you know. If you know, you know. Pollen's the devil around here. Pine pollen. Ugh, it's everywhere. I will be linking Seven Plaza's Kofi site where you can get the calendar and the prompts. If you guys want to join in, you're more than welcome to join. Her only rule is to make sure you post for that letter on that day. So since today's letter F, I have to make sure to post this video. I'm sorry, today's G. G. Right? Yeah, G. G for gussets. And, excuse me. Post that today. I will see you guys in the next video. We're going to be doing letter H. I don't know what we're going to be doing for it yet. Something maybe hidden, like a hidden paper clipper. I thought about a hidden journaling space. I do have a little trick that I do sometimes for that. And we may do that tomorrow. We shall see. But until then, check out the description. I'll have, I guess, the Seven Plazas Kofi site, as well as her channel, Crafty by Tony as well, and the other people in her design team. They'll all be linked in the description below. Also, you'll see our Etsy shop link there, so please check us out. We are adding stuff every, almost said every day, every chance I get. Please be patient if your order might be a little bit delayed, just because I can't, just so I can print the shipping labels until I get my printer ink pad replaced by Epson. Thank you, Epson, for blocking me from printing anything until I call you and get my ink pad replaced. Anybody else that has an Epson Eco Tank, you know what I'm talking about. If you're about to purchase one, just know it will shut you down until you call Epson and get your ink pad replacement that you have to order. We also have a link to my Kofi page where, if you want, there's a couple pieces of free ephemera there. I keep saying I'm gonna put some more up, and I keep forgetting. It's not that I don't want to, I just keep forgetting. I have a horrible memory. But I will, at some point, someday, I hope, get more free ephemera up there for you guys. And also, if you wanted to donate to our channel, all proceeds go to buy more supplies and more tools for bringing you more makes. Or fixing our printer. Again. It's the second time this year I've had printer problems that get fixed. Anywho, thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you. My new subscribers, thanks for joining. If you are new and you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and you'll get notified to any new content that I do upload. If you like the video, please hit the like button and leave us a comment. That's the best way, free of charge. You can help our channel and support us without spending a dime. All right? I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good night. Bye.